I almost didn't do this video. It's now going dark. I'm just outside my house, and it was so cold today. I mean, so cold. No, that's not beer. It's root beer. It was so cold today. I've been working outdoors for a long time, right? Grew up in a small town. Had to cut wood. I skied, cross country skied. I wouldn't say I'm an outdoors person. No, I'd rather shoot myself in the foot than camp. But yeah, I've been outdoors my whole life, driven in a lot of cold nights and days, especially back in PEI in Montreal where I got my start. But man, oh man, it was cold today. Not the coldest weather I've ever seen, but it felt that way. We were frozen from the time we went outside to the time we come back. With the wind chill, we were pushing at the start of the day minus 17 or 18. It got to be a balmy minus 8 before the wind, and it was windy. Before we closed up shop for the day, finished all our sets, I did my top 10 list first because I wanted to get that out of the way. Well, it's fresh in my mind. I like doing that list on Saturday, right? Because I want to be enthusiastic. I want to sound enthusiastic when I talk about the horses. I just don't want, and this horse did this and that horse did. I'd rather tell you how I felt. To do that, it has to be fresh in the moment also. I was excited today. The only thing that didn't excite me was actually going to train them today. It was so cold. Anyway, I was thoroughly pleased with the way the babies trained today. I trained for my partners out there, especially Charlie. I trained Tanzanite tricks in 2.5, and it was freezing. Was she ready to go in 2.5? That was an argument, a conversation that Amy and I had. I'm sure James and I'll have. She was turned out, brought back, jogged for a month, trained. She'd only been 1.5 miles, with the last mile in maybe 15, 16, 17 in the jog cart. But she was trotting good, and I figured I had her trotting good. Wanted to make sure she trained good. Now the track's short, right? Short track, so 2.5 was probably 2.7. But it was nasty, dirty, filthy, cold weather today. From what I saw today, she's ready to qualify in 2.3 and then go out and race. But this is a half-mile track too. Keep in mind, this affiliate never really got around a half super great. She was good today. Very happy with Tanzanite tricks today. I know that James had trained all the other sophomores in the top barn at Glare AM. I watched Braemar train today with Brody. Looked very, very good. Probably a couple of more 1.5 miles. The timing is looking good. Not in a big hurry to have him ready for that first series that is 3 and 4-year-old mixed. Certainly that second one. Captain's Maid, I saw train today. Looked good also. So Captain's Maid, Braemar, at Glare AM. We already have Frilly Fringes and Won My Heart Hanover over there. That looks good. Sweet Ambitions, maybe not for the series, but definitely could be good enough for a maiden over there. They've been fooling around with her. She's been ready for a while. We're gonna do some shuffling around here a little bit. Jason is looking like Jason's gonna head back first part of March to Ohio, because even with everything going on, we don't know if we're gonna be able to get trained, qualified, and raced in time here at Mohawk. We don't know what the schedule is gonna look like. It looks like as of Tuesday, the lockdown is over in Ontario. From what I've read, there hasn't been any signaling that will be extended for the Halton region where Mohawk is. I say that because they say York, Toronto, Peel will be extended to the 22nd, the stay-at-home order. I feel bad for those buggers. They were in for a few weeks before us, and it's felt like a millennium we've been locked in, even though I have gone stateside a couple of times. It feels like a different world. When you're over there, you can go and eat in a restaurant. It seems normal. Not like I was looking, but the restaurant at the hotel I was at was open, right? It's still like a every third table, and capacity is like 40%, but still, you don't realize how you miss something until you don't have it. So it looks like the lockdown's over on the 9th. What does that mean? It sounds like we're going back into the zones, right? Halton has been pretty good. From what I can see, reading in the news, looking at the graphs and the charts, it looks like Halton's been pretty good. We would likely not open up in a red, but I think that's orange underneath. I doubt we'll go to green, but orange underneath. So if Woodbine, and it looks like Woodbine is ready and waiting to get rocking, if they are, it looks like we could train this week at Mohawk, hopefully, next week at the latest, and I suspect on the 25th of February, wait now, hold on. Today is the Thursday. I think that's the 25th of February, I believe we can race. I believe. But that'll be up to Woodbine, Jim, and the provincial authorities. But as of Tuesday, the lockdown in Halton is scheduled to be over. So barring any change in I like how they just blatantly leak stuff to the press, and I think when they do it on a Friday just to let it settle in and see what people think. Hear anything about what we were going to do? I think that's kind of how the populist government works when you're dealing with something. I don't blame them. When you're dealing the likes of this with a pandemic, our children are going back to school Monday on the 8th. The day before the lockdown ends, our kids are going back to school. So it's been a long time, and it's been we have hemorrhaged money having to sell Zeb Sunshine and those horses. And I told you this is something we had them ready to go, but they're ready to go for here at Mohawk, right? They weren't half-mile track horses. We had nowhere to race. They had to race. And I've been talking to some of our clients, friends of mine, saying, one in particular saying, can we please get Italian Grit to Northfield? No, not yet. Just, that's a one-way ticket. If he's no good, I'm getting rid of him. He can race in London and Flamborough 2-3 starts, get himself put together. Then we can see what kind of horse he is. Those other horses weren't afforded that opportunity and ended up sold. Cambridge Star was just a money pit from day one, and I don't really feel he got that opportunity to race at London and Flamborough. They weren't open. He wasn't good enough to race at Northfield. I mean, you might say, well, if he's not good at Northfield, not good enough for Flamborough. It's tough racing at Northfield. Just ask anybody that shipped over here from here to race there. I don't know if you've been paying attention or not. There's no walkovers there, no gimmies. So it looks like we'll be able to hang in there just until Mohawk opens up. I was obviously happy to hear the news. You should be happy also to hear the news. Circling back to some of our horses. Yeah, we had to get rid of some of our horses. Some of them have done well. Stonebridge Simba did well. Popped the quarter crack last week. I got to the bottom of that. So he's going to be off a week or two. If I remember Simba, they bother him quite a bit. They split pretty good. So what you have to do is you have the hoof, right? From the hairline, you draw the line down. It could go down a quarter of an inch, a half an inch, or right to the bottom of the foot. That would be bad. What you have to do is, it's kind of like a split in your thumb, but if your thumb was much stronger, they bevel it out, clean it out, and then they wire it shut. So you know as well as I do, it hurts the most if you get a hangnail or something in that area where it's open. If you can close that off, for us, a Band-Aid in a day usually works pretty good, but for a horse trying to land their pressure on that, Band-Aids don't work. So a lot of times they'll call it wiring a crack. You need to let that initial split into the hairline heal down just a little bit. Take the pressure off it so it's not trying to open up. By taking the pressure off, you can build a shoe that, say if the crack was here, you can build a shoe where the shoe actually rides into the foot a little bit, which is okay. You can put it across to the end of the shoe over here, taking the pressure off this inside or outside corner, and then wire that. That will work in a lot of cases, but you have to get that initial growth down. So Stonebridge Simba he'll get over it. It's not a big deal. It's something that happens, and it's something it's not new to him. He's done it many, many times in his life. So that's what happened with him. Off-Road Hanover was hitting his elbows. The first day he didn't now. I had elbow boots on him when I qualified him at the Meadows. But, yeah, he'll let go of the bit a little bit. It's foreign to him. He's not comfortable with it. First day he won at Northfield. He was grabby, felt good. And this is me talking to Aaron Merriman. Second week they put the elbow boots on him. Or second week he hit his elbows. So I told him if he's freshly shod and you lower his angle as low as you can get and you can keep him comfortable like that, he shouldn't get into his elbows. What happens is you grow heel, the horse will grow heel and toe, and their angle will start to come up right before their next shoeing. So it might be their third or fourth shoeing. They'll say, geez, that horse get into his elbows a little more. Well, that angle has come up a little bit, right? Now, if he grows a lot more toe than heel, the angle will go down. But still, with that length of his toe, that could also help him get up and touch his elbows. You wouldn't think they'd be able to, but they can. Absolutely they can. And Off-Road Hanover will get up into his elbows, cut them, and it hurts. So he might make a break or just not put out. And I think you saw that power outage in his last start. So I'm going to talk to Billy about it and say, geez, first start he didn't hit when you shot him. Second start he brushed himself a little bit. Third start and fourth start he's into those elbows. Pretty telltale sign. Maybe take those elbow boots off, and then maybe 3 days before he races, even if you have to every week, just take a little bit of heel off, lower him back down, keep his toes short, lower him back down to where he is. If you can do that and he stays at his elbows, pretty easy fix. So that's the Off-Road Hanover saga. Won My Heart Hanover, giving her a couple of weeks off as she's coming into series. I don't have too many starts into this filly by the time she gets to June. I think you'll have a broken schedule with her where we'll miss parts of the summer just to keep her fresh, and I think that's the best way to attack her. Her and Frilly Fringes struggled with the heat last year, so again, keep an eye on that airway, see if there's pimples, swelling, mucus, things of that nature. If there is, shut her down for a couple of weeks, and I think we'll have the ability to do that, setting her up the way that we are right now. Frilly Fringes, speaking of her, she qualified great the other day. Now, a mile and 2.3, you might say, is that enough? The track was terrible. It was like Tamiko Training Center and it's not that Tamiko's bad, but it's a training track. It's not a racing facility, and the Meadows is. So you had a track that was a little icier than their usual. They don't use a lot of cork over there. Here in Ontario, we got those big giant corks on the shoes over there. They don't. So Frilly Fringes may have had a little help that other horses didn't in that particular morning because she hadn't been shod to take that cork off yet. So it was still on, but she needed it the other day. And if you look at the horses that she beat, Spend That Money was one of them. Now I get out in the middle. She could have shot through and beat Frilly Fringes. Frilly Fringes was good. She trotted hard all the way to the wire. Dave Colon loved her. I note that she drew the rail Wednesday at the Meadows. So a great thing for us. Good start, good draw, great driver on Frilly Fringes for Wednesday. Spend That Money's in. I was kind of hoping to go drive Spend That Money. She's going to need a couple of starts just to get back in the swing of things. I was happy how smooth she was when I went with her the other day. Very happy with that. So that's good. Fox Valley Britska made his first start stateside as a sophomore. I thought he was good for a horse that was off for like a millennium, it felt like. Had the 9-hole. Aaron got away at the back. Just one would break, another one get rough. He just kept picking them off. Ended up 5th. A little flat on the end of it, but how couldn't he be? He wasn't tight. He looked good, though. Very happy with the way Fox Valley Britska looked this week. I don't want to miss anybody. There wasn't a ton that raced great, was there? We had a ton of flat horses. Yes, was a little flat, but Sound did his work well. Happy with him. Oso Pine, flat. Again, did his work well. Just a little flat. Not a big deal. They did okay. And I was happy with, as I said, with most of them that raced. Just a tough time of year, right? We have horses that shouldn't be over there that had to go over. We had horses with breaks in their schedule for various reasons. Compass Rose DC's race went in 54. Now, just to put it in perspective, that is not restricted to fillies and mares. There's colts and geldings in there. In fact, 2 of them were first and second in 54 and 4. The horse that was second, King Alfonso, they just paid $145,000 US for that horse at the sale in January at the Meadowlands. That's the horse that was second in Compass Rose DC's race. He's got 3 lifetime wins. That's a nominal as a 6. I said to Tim, no. We're not feeding that horse for the next 3 weeks, next 3 wins. Now's the time. Pull the trigger. Turn Compass Rose DC out for 3-4 weeks. By the time we get her back ready to go, hopefully that thing is gone out of there. That class usually is good. She's usually good in there, but you're going to start putting ringers in there over the winter. Now's the time to take the rest. Not that she needs the rest, but when you look at the scenery of what's going on, all that is taking place in that class, now's the time to give her a rest. So White Tiger will come back in a couple of days early. That's fine. White Tiger will come back in. We'll swap them out on Sunday. We'll give Brave World another couple of weeks, and then we'll bring him back. I think. I'm waiting to hear from Jacob Schaefer, who is turning him out, to see, hey, has it been 3 weeks? If it's almost 3 weeks and he's eating well, maybe we can bring him back in. Now, this is one horse that may actually make a return to Ontario for obvious reasons. The stakes are set up. Thank you so much again, our clients. I keep telling everybody we get the best clients. It was like an immediate avalanche of revenue that came in when I told everybody, we have to make these payments for the stakes. I need to get this money in. I know a lot of people still mailed their checks. I'm sure they'll be here on time. But thank you so very much for getting that done. I really appreciate it. Ontario pushed the payments back a month. So next month's going to be a little higher than it usually is historically, because those $800 3-year-old sophomore payments to the OSS, they're next month. So next month's going to be a little hefty. It'll be the same thing for the next 2 months. All hands on deck. I'll try to get the staking and the payments out to you guys, the amounts out to you guys quickly as I can, but Wendy can't have them out until the 1st of the month. So bear with me. It went well this month. I suspect the hiccups will definitely be over the next 2 months, as there'll be much greater amounts to pay these horses into. So that is the staking. Right now, it seems like smooth sailing towards the end of the month. I appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. I had a couple of people ask us also about the fair races, so we're going to pay our horses in Ohio. It's very important. We're going to pay our horses into the same fair circuit we did last year, which is up here by Bowling Green and those areas down the side. I don't really know what to call it. And then the other one that's closer to Northfield Park, we're going to pay them all into that also. By doing that, it allows us to pay into 3 individual races in other there's 4 staking groups, 4 fair boards, and we can pay into 3 other ones along the way. So paying into the 2, the one that we were in last year, the one around Northfield Park, and then I suspect we'll utilize those 3 singular ones to places that are very close. And on the days we want to train, as somebody put it today, it's almost like paid training, which it is. So we want to check where our schedule is in the summer. What days would we be training? Which days would be, it'd be nice to get a start into this horse. I'm sure there'd be no problem whether it be in our conference or another conference or one of those 3 singular races. It will work out well. Now, I think those conferences are about $450 each. So rather than just pay $450 for a conference, we'll be in for the full $900 for 2 of them next month. So again, you can see why this next month is when all the babies have to be paid in the first leg of the Breeders' Crown if we choose to, or the Wellwood, or any of those stakes. Next month is the one that really bites. So whether it's the OSS would have been $800 each this month, nothing next month. Now it's all $800 plus. We're going to do the best we can to keep them staked as conservatively as we can. But at the same time, when there are some horses here, we're going to pay into a number of events. Just looking down the list, the Ohio ones are easy. It's just Ohio for the most part. And that's great. The bad thing about Ohio is their stake races, run at the same time as some of these added money events. So can't race in both. Certainly can't miss stake races or the Ohio Breeders' Championships or the finals. So that takes out the Wellwood and a number of these things. So that's the good and bad thing about Ohio. So there won't be a ton more to pay them into for the Ohio circuit. I'm going to talk to Irv Miller, who's a partner of ours with Spent. I like what I see from Spent. How do you usually stake your Indiana breds? So that'll be a good conversation to have with him. I do want to talk to him anyway. He does have Cavill Hanover now at his farm and training, and I want to talk to him about what's coming up for Yes. We can race Yes and the non-winners of nothing here, but they also have those classes at Yonkers. Is he going to get in every week? These are things I want to talk to him about anyway. So going to give you Irv a call over Spent. I'm looking at a lot of Ohio horses. Then you look at a horse like Arches Rainbow. She looks fantastic. We're going to pay her into a little bit. We're not going to get too excited about her. And then again, a Mordiner, Pennsylvania Sires. There might be a couple of things. There's some, like the Liberty Bell is at the end of the season. Then in the middle of the year, there's one right at the Meadows also. Renegade Gypsy's a horse we're probably going to look at. Will to Win Hanover and 3 Point Blue Chip. They're going to be staked pretty heavy, right? So those particular horses, got to keep an eye on them. But not too bad for the most part. We got a lot of horses. Bomb Huggers, mostly New York Sires. A few other little things in there for her. Rosie's Masterpiece, same type of trajectory for that filly also. Luck of the Dragon. Now, it's also worth saying that the Next Generation Series, that $10,000 free-for-all event for 2-year-old pacing colts, they opened it up to trotters this year also. We don't have any pacing fillies for Ohio. I didn't know that. How didn't I get that shopping list? It's fine. Luck of the Dragon, I'll tell you right now, the way he's training, that's a horse I would like to pay into that stake. So you guys can shoot. There's always a group of clients that give me that dialogue about staking, what they think. This year I'll be able to get those prospective staking out, those staking events out, and then you guys can look at them and shoot me back some dialogue. But I will tell you right now, Luck of the Dragon, I want to pay him in to the Next Generation. That's $10,000 US next month due. I think he's going to be our best colt. He looks fantastic right now. By all things, if I can extrapolate any data forward, this is our best looking colt, and he looks real, real good. Now, here's the kicker. Which filly? Which colt on the trotting side in Ohio? Let me just tell you how tough it is. Voyage of Ice and Fire. I think he's one of the better trotters we've ever had. Ever had, speed and power-wise, intelligence. You know, he's still very green mentally, but wants to succeed. Very nice horse. Prairie Fire looks nice. I know he's going to have to catch up quite a bit to beat Voyage of Ice and Fire. 1-2 Skip a Few on the Philly side has been great. Eyes of 10 has been incredible. We can only race one. I think we can only race one, and we're not paying two. We're not buying 2 spots. 1 spot. Eyes of 10 looks incredible. Sneaky suspicion it might be her, even though we also have Of Tom, who I love also, right? Mischievous Rose Ontario. Slim Jimmy, Meat and Potatoes Jimmy, he's been good. Hill of Magic, Well-Bred Filly, looks good coming on, but again, is she going to do enough to catch up to Eyes of 10? Purple Aura, is she going to catch her? 1-2 Skip a Few. This is the difficult part. Because I'm going to have to tell everybody. I know we have till June or whatever to nominate an actual horse, but a group has to pay in. Like last year, we had Gray as a New Red into it. She got hurt. The Well and Down group bought it. Now that ended up being a debacle because of the rules of the. I don't want to get into that. It's still sore. Still bothers me. But that group purchased the rights to race in that race off of the other group. I think that's the best way to do it. So we'll have to look at which horse is going to be nominated for this and then go from there. So that's what it looks like right now. We have some incredibly good-looking fillies. Eyes of 10, Purple Aura, Of Tom, to name 3 right off the bat. 1-2 Skip a Few could easily come on throughout the spring and summer. She's a very good-looking filly. That's 4 legit fillies. Hill of Magic, not too far behind them. That's a 5th filly, right? What else do we got here? I'm sure we got another one, do we? Sweet on Pete, big, giant, good-looking, well-bred filly. She's ways behind them yet, but lots of time to catch up. Matt's MVP, Colt. Again, he's in the same situation as Sweet on Pete. Kathy with an eye, same situation. They're a little bit behind, but got all the tools if they happen to snap them into place in time. You Gotta Believe is also on there as being a nice colt. As being a nice colt in the hunt. So if you're gonna put the clamps on me right now, I would say the contest right now for that position would be on the colt side. Voyage of Ice and Fire would be 1. On the colt side, Voyage of Ice and Fire. I guess Prairie Fire would be on that list also, potential, but Voyage of Ice and Fire right now. On the colt side, it looks like he might be a runaway here. Granite Hill, you know, he looked great today. Long way to go yet, but he looked great today. Matt's MVP looked great today. Maybe the colt side isn't as tough as I thought it was. You Gotta Believe looked good today again, but Voyage of Ice and Fire has looked very, very good. And then on the filly side, this is the real problem. This is a real problem. 1-2 Skip a Few. Check. Also, Purple Aura, Eyes of 10. Check, check. That's 3. Of Tom. That's 4. And it wouldn't be a long, long way for Eyes of 10 or for Hill of Magic to get there. That would be 5. Just let me make sure I didn't miss anybody here. Granite Hill on the colt side, as I said. Matt's MVP, said him. I think that's it. I might have missed a couple. The filly's going to be a real problem. I see 4 legit contenders on the filly side, and I believe Voyage of Ice and Fire at this point, it would take a couple of big miles in a short period of time to knock Voyage of Ice and Fire off of that list. So we're looking at Voyage of Ice and Fire, one of those 4 fillies, and Luck of the Dragon for the Next Generation Series. We don't have an Ohio pacing filly, so we can't put one in. Maybe one of our colts. What are they? I don't want to go down there. I'm not going to do it. Never mind. So that's where we're at right now with Ohio. Again, exciting times this year. I'm looking at the entire list of the horses we have. From top to bottom, we got some real talent this year. Spent has exhibited some really good signs of being a quality animal. LSL for Pennsylvania, I know you guys haven't seen him much in the last few weeks. Colt's just going around with him. The first time I jump up and go with him, James does. I think you're going to see a different horse, no doubt. Amor Diener, again, looks really good. These are Pennsylvania. These are mixes. So I got Indiana with Spent. LSL is Pennsylvania. Amor Diener, Pennsylvania. Unbeatable Kemp, New Jersey. 1-2 Skip a Few, Ohio. Rose Above It, Pennsylvania. Then we get the other fillies, Eyes of 10, Purple Aura, Renegade Gypsy, Ontario. This could go on and on. Will to Win Hanover, 3-Point Blue Chip. We're stacked. We got horses so far for every jurisdiction, and they look realistically competent and ready to go, hopefully in June. So as of February the 9th, 2021, it has been a chaotic 2 months. It's been a financially humbling situation for myself and a lot of my partners. On some of the horses we were forced to move. We're trying to get the other horses ready to go here for Ontario first. So my partners in Italian Grit, hang in there. I believe they're going to start within the next 2 weeks. We'll be ready to go. I very much caution everybody about just being in a big hurry to get to Northfield or Pennsylvania. It's a cautionary tale that has been told at least 4 times this year, and I'm not in a big hurry to pull that trigger again with a couple of these horses. So Broadway Roll, we want to start her here. Italian Grit, we want to start her here, and obviously Can't Muscle Me, Girls with Swirls. I'm missing a ton of horses that are ready to go right now. So anyway, that is our opening. As they say, help is on the way. The lockdown ends Tuesday here. It looks like they're going to start opening up businesses shortly thereafter. Make no mistake, your mail, your email, your letters to the government definitely helped, from what I can tell. I think it really helped open the eyes of the government exactly what kind of a role at least fractional ownership is playing here in Ontario, when they're getting letters from Pennsylvania, Indiana, Ohio, across the ocean. Lots and lots of people sending emails. Thank you so very much. It played a role not just in us getting back earlier, but in the future of a lot of people that are really in a bad place. We're not in a great place. That's life. You know, I said to somebody the other day, I'm not going to complain. You know, you think of the people that own restaurants and all these other businesses that are just not going to reopen. People that have had their life's work destroyed, burned up, you know, burned through all their savings with this pandemic. So it could always be worse. I know one thing: a lot of those people don't have 900 voices behind them, and it's been an incredible, uplifting experience being in business with you guys and keeping things going throughout the winter. Because as tough as things can get, it's always nice to get a nice email. I know I tell everybody, you know, you don't have to, but you know, you wake up on a day like we didn't have a great day of racing. We didn't have a great 2 weeks racing. And to wake up the day after, you know, kind of down in the funk, and open your email and, you know, somebody saying horses weren't that bad, or chin up, things are coming around. It's certainly a great feeling. So it's a wonderful thing to be in business with all of you. And again, thank you very much for hanging in there. It looks like we've reached the end of the tunnel. Now it's just a matter of days, not weeks or months, and we'll be back racing here in Ontario. The babies appear to be good. The guys have had the track fantastic at Tamiko. So things are looking up, as they say. So thank you very much. I'll be in touch with all of you very, very soon. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a I want to say great winter, but I don't understand. I don't know how you could. I hope you're having if you live in Florida, hey, you're having a great winter. Go watch the Super Bowl tomorrow. The weather's good there. It's cold here. It's really cold. Somebody had asked about Pennsylvania. I think maybe next Friday, if we get a bunch of horses in, yes, Oso Pine, Fox Valley, Britska. I was hoping to spend that money, but that's not going to happen. There's a couple more. Miss Brampton Beast. If we can get those horses in next Friday, I think maybe I can scoot over and go with them. I know a lot of people have said, geez, you know, you're running the roads, it's freezing cold. You know, I'll go over Friday morning, I'll be back Friday night, because we are droning next Saturday. So that's my plan for next week. Please, hopefully everybody stays healthy. Stay warm, stay healthy, stay safe. And we will all get through this. As I keep telling everybody, focus on the summer. Hopefully in the summer we can get back to some form of normality. And we can always maybe go out, have a beer, talk about the races. Wouldn't that be great? Take care. I hope you're having a great weekend.